Hello, welcome to Tears of a Machine SC on Dungeon Not Included. We're in probably our final session now, I think, right?
Yep, this is meant to be it.
All right, let's see if we can get through that.
Yeah, exactly.
We kind of have a bad streak of not getting through that.
We do.
Well, we're starting right on time, so that's good. So,
Yeah.
as we had wound things up, things were getting pretty tense between the pilots of the family. There was, a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? When I don't know sports, so it's when one team tries to steal away another team's star player.
Yeah.
There's a word for that. I don't know what it is right now.
Yes.
But yeah, there was a little bit of that. There was the fact that that Raj, the trainer, is trying to sort of swap things around so that he gets to go with the cool kids from Able Company, and then the family company gets shifted over to the Ark's Ocker, which is going to be stuck hovering over Philadelphia for who knows how long as they repair it, which would kind of get you guys stuck there. So he won, and then all of the emergency alarms have gone off as well, and there's actually a attack by the Ven going on in New York City, which is near enough that you will be deployed to deal with it. So
shoot us out of their giant gun this time.
Yes, exactly. We had talked about a couple of different ways we could try and pursue some of this. Like, I had said, well, the crisis scene doesn't necessarily need to be a big fight, but we kind of like having a big fight with giant robots. So we might mix things up a little bit. I think I'm going to say if somebody wants to bring up part of the arguments or whatever that were going on in the midst of it, that can still be part of this big scene.
Okay,
if anyone
nice.
needs to fight something out or sort something out or confront someone, I think we'll mix that into it. That does mean I might need to add some extra points to this scene just to make sure we get to do all that cool stuff. But I was also planning to drop a giant monster on you anyway, so that already is going to add extra beats to the clock.
Okay.
Not much else to say about that, I guess. So, any questions? Anyone need any refreshers or anything?
I have a question.
Yes.
Has there been enough time to have our Saints repaired?
Has there been enough time to have your Saints are functional? Your Saints are always able to put themselves back to being functional. I don't think there's any time to they have equipment on the rack that they can give you. If you need to change anything about your equipment, you can, but in that case, again, it's going to be stuff coming off the rack. You're not going to get any special stuff. But I mean, the good news is something like like missile pods can be reloaded easily enough and things like that. So yeah, there's been enough time that your Saints are functional.
Okay.
Operational.
If somehow I unchecked everything, I can't remember what I did to do that in previous episodes of this podcast, but damaged, I was still checked. So
Gotcha. All right. Well, let's also take a look at let's remember our angst, because if we're launching, and that angst becomes the id of our Saints. So some of us might already be in a state. Let's see. Do I remember who's up to what?
My angst was 1. So
okay.
I put my id up to 1.
Yeah, that's not so
I'm
bad.
actually doing okay.
yeah, I brought mine down to 0. So,
Right. Okay.
I still have 2.
Right. Good. Well, as long as you've got enough ego, everything's fine, right?
What's your ego?
3.
Okay.
Yeah. We're fine. We're fine.
Yeah, we're fine.
Nothing's going to go
Everything's gonna be
wrong.
fine.
That's great.
All right. So yes, as Brennan mentioned, the 3 of you are rushed down to your Saints control pods, loaded into the machines, and fired out like bullets from a gun, heading north toward New York City, basically heading toward Manhattan. Oh, excitement! That's one of the most heavily built up cities. So of course, one of the ones that was hardest hit in the past. But that just means that people who have rebuilt there have rebuilt with more of a defensive measures in mind. So it's become one of those like fortress cities. Major cities just have to keep operating. That's just the way it is. They need all that material and workers and so on all clustered together. So that just means they have to put up bigger defenses against attacks. But of course, that also means that when the Ven do attack, they attack in matching force, meaning the stuff that's raining down on New York now is pretty severe. Let's see. Able Company is launching as well. In fact, as soon as you are fired out of the Jericho, the Ocker is also sort of floating up and aiming itself in that same direction, and you can. They're going to be following behind you by about 30 seconds or something like that. But they are aimed a slightly different course from where you're going. You might meet in the middle if you start moving towards Central Park together, which seems to be where a lot of the attack craft have landed, probably because it's the easiest clear open space. The Ven are in full smash and grab mode. They are raining down their landing craft that are then sending out streams of locust robots, and following behind them are the smaller stalker units. And they're looking for people they can snatch up, put in these metal cocoon things, and then toss back into the landers so they can abduct those people and add them to their collective conscious mass mind computer on the moon.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the Matrix. It's that thing.
Yeah.
All right. So, the three of you are streaking through the air, heading there. Already, your saint minds are filling up with all kinds of information. You can just hear the chatter of communications going back and forth, and you can just sort of like scroll through all of the emergency broadcast channels going on, and it's just it's chaos down there. You can already get those early news feeds and security camera footage and so on getting to you of just the explosions of these giant insect robots charging up and down the streets, and defensive forces coming out to meet them with guns firing down from the rooftops of the buildings, and trying to take out wasps as they zip through the air, while the Magnus, locust units that look more like giant beetles are like rushing and crashing against barricades. Anything the three of you want to cover before you arrive?
Oh, let's get into it.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we left things in an interesting place. So we'll have to see how that comes into this, if it does. But all right then. So let's see. So Shrike, Mischief, and Tagana, as you are flying in over the city, your jet units begin to cycle down the power and drop in altitude. Things come into more of a visual focus now of what you are facing in the city below you, and you begin hearing indications of what's going on. And right now, one of the big concerns is that actually at Central Park itself, there's a large evacuation shelter built underneath Central Park, and of course, that being where the landing craft are attempting to set down means that is in pretty immediate danger of the landers just basically crushing it under. There is also a launch pad at Columbus Circle that is used to evacuate people, and again, that is very close to what has become the landing zone of the Locust. So that's another place that's kind of in danger. So those are the first sort of two targets that are pointed out to you as places that need intervention ASAP.
Mm-hmm. Tagana's definitely going to go for that shelter, right? And doesn't want refugees being rained death upon them.
Gotcha.
So I say that over the comms. I'm like, I think that's our first objective. Yeah.
Let's keep those people in the evac shelter safe.
Right.
Okay. So the three of you adjust course, heading that way. As you get closer and closer, the jets cut down power and then eventually switch off completely and detach to just sort of drop the three of you down. You find yourselves, floating at first, and then just kind of dropping down into Central Park. Now, as I said, a lot of the city has been kind of built up here. Large areas of the park have been sort of planed out to be used as landing fields and launch platforms and things like that. And most of the buildings around it actually have anti-aircraft emplacements set on the roofs of the buildings. So, the older buildings that have seen attacks like this before, you can see there's scaffolding with metal plating attached to them to kind of replace segments that had been destroyed in the past. A few buildings have been just utterly replaced by sort of low to the ground concrete blocks with again, sort of like weapons studded from them. So it's a strange mix of brutalist architecture and original brutalist architecture, along with the other more varied looks of the city. All of it, though, basically wearing a suit of armor. That means, of course, that the Ven are just pouring out in all directions. That big emergency evac shelter door is actually underneath one of the landing zones, meaning the ceiling of it has been damaged by one of these lander craft. Now, the lander craft, they look like a big sort of dome shape. They kind of, the easiest thing to think of it is like a bulb of garlic, in that it's that kind of bulb shaped thing, and it actually opens as if it's peeling open on all sides to open up hatches that let the locust pour out of it. So one of those has basically crashed down on the ceiling. People below are scrambling to try to get to the lower levels of it, but the ground beneath this thing is actually starting to give way so that it would collapse in. So the three of you charge up toward it. It is bigger than the three of you put together. The Ven robots pouring out of it, the locust, are smaller. They're about, I don't know, between Chihuahua and Labrador Retriever size, based on the design of them as they come up to you. But what do the three of you want to try to do in order to get rid of that lander before it crushes through the ceiling?
Well, I have an idea of something that I want to do.
Sure.
I'm going to fly down next to the lander, take the shield that I have, and use it to try to lever the lander up off of the ground.
Okay. Cool. Anyone helping out with this endeavor, or are you each taking your own tack? It is possible to do your own thing. It is possible to fall in alongside Mischief and provide assist dice. What do you want to try?
I'd like to assist. This seems like the foremost thing to do, so I'd say probably I'm being holistic about this.
Sure. All right. So that'll give Mischief extra die to call upon. So Mischief, what dice, what traits are helping you with this?
Brash and protecting. And my saint. So.
All right, so 3 dice. You're going to get one assist from Shrike. Tigana, are you going to do your own thing?
Yeah, I think I'll hold back to help people escape or do something else, depending on what happens here.
All right, cool. Let's see what goes on. All right, so we've got 3 dice to roll, and 1 die from Shrike that can then be used to swap out one of the 3 if you don't like it. Let's see what we got.
I got a plus, a 0, and a minus.
Okay.
And I provided a minus.
All right. So Shrike unfortunately blunders into the path of a group of Ven robots, surging out of one of those hatches just as you sit down in front of it. Basically, the door slides open and out they pour. Now, Mischief, you can still take that die from Shrike and use it to replace one of your own. You have a minus, so you could replace a minus with a minus, and then at least you have basically taken the hit for Shrike in that case. Maybe that's where you charge in with your shield, you know?
Yeah, since I see Shrike's in danger, I'm going to go ahead and do that.
All right. So a slight course correction as you charge shield first, getting right in front of Shrike and rushing to, in essence, shove these giant bug insects back into the hatch that they're clambering out of to try and attack you. Now you need to choose your gold die. You've got a plus, blank, and a minus to choose from.
I'm going to go ahead and choose that plus.
Makes good sense, I think.
And use that to shove the beetles back into the hold, and then jam the shield underneath the lander, and then start levering it up.
Yeah, the beetles are smashed backwards, and then the additional like energy of you hitting the lander causes it to start to tip and tilt so that you can jam your shield there and begin prying. It starts to sort of roll and tip away. And in order to try and correct itself from that, there is a blast of the engines on the bottom of it firing off. So you have rescued the shelter. What is your cost? You get to choose the cost because you played a plus. There's a blank and a minus.
I'll take the blank.
Okay. So a blank result for that. Your shield still catches the blast, the engine wash from that lander as it basically pushes itself kind of badly up into the air at an off angle and then crashes back down into the park further away. But, you can see beneath you can see like cracks in the, in the ground of the park lawn that are in nice, neat, straight lines showing where the concrete slabs had begun to separate. But that's safe now. All right. So that blank will give you a point of id, unless you want to buy that up by spending an ego point or spending a piece of gear.
I'll go ahead and take the point of id. Now my id and my ego are matched.
That's fine. That's fine.
So.
The danger starts to happen once your id is higher than your ego.
Yeah.
As soon as that happens, you don't immediately go into a disastrous situation once it is higher. But what that means is then you are at the point of danger. So as long as they're equal or lower, you're fine. Once it's over, then we're in the danger zone.
Got it.
Okay. All right, good. So it looks like that worked out okay. Tigana, what do you want to do then? Do you want to put your energy into rescuing the launch pad, or do you want to look for something else to do to contribute? Oh, I need to lower the beat count to 10.
Okay. Let me for some reason my screen isn't refreshing, so I still see 1, but I will worry about that on my own time. I am going to I'll say over the comms, I'm like, watch it, Shrike, you're not off the team yet. Keep your head in the game, because I'm not helping. And this is the way I project my feelings these days. And then I'm going to focus my energy on the pad, seeing if I could help there.
Okay. That's what we need. We need a little antagonism. Yeah.
It was meant to be friendly antagonism, but it was at the exactly wrong time to do it.
Yep. So the launch pad is where they would be launching helicopters and other emergency craft up, but the air overhead is basically trapped in a cloud of those wasp robots zipping around. And at the same time, a group of sort of crab-like locusts are moving across the open ground of the park, heading toward the barrier walls that surround it. So, kind of surrounded on all sides by these things.
So Tigana is going to turn his attention to the crab-like crawlers, and he's going to do a little showing off. He's going to use the shadow gate to open up underneath them, and then open up the other door above them. So the crabs will rain down on the wasps. if this goes right.
All right. Yeah. Let's see if we can make that happen. All right. So what traits will you need in order to do this?
Saint, definitely, obviously. Fearless. This is not a time to be doing anything reckless, but I don't mind. I'm gonna give it a shot. And I'm deceiving because I'm gonna trick those crabs into becoming weapons. And I want to know what the Shadow Gate can do. I'm going with discovering. I'm trying to figure out new things and new ways to use my newfound strength and moxie.
All right. Well, then let's see what we get with those 4.
All right. Anything popping up for you folks?
No, not yet.
All right, use your imagination. No, I'm going to refresh. I don't know. There's something wrong with my version of Roll20. So, how you all doing? Good. All right, it's just refreshed.
All right.
We'll edit this out in post.
Yes. No, it's actual play, including actual stalling.
Actual play featuring actual stalling as actual technical problems occur. Oh, wait, there you are.
There I am. So 2 blanks, a plus and a minus.
All right. Yeah, you get a pretty good assortment of things there. So yeah, which one's the goal? Which one's the goal die?
Goal's going to be the plus.
Okay. I think that makes sense. All right. Yes. So you will your plan will work out. You will begin trying to tune the Shadow Gate. It ends up being a lot trickier than you thought, just trying to like figure out where to place the energy from this thing. It's like sort of a weird gravity well thing that then connects to the same sort of matter transmission device that the Magnus actually use when they teleport away after an attack. So it's a very tricky little mind bender to work it out, but it seems to be working to the point that enough of these crab things go smashing through wasps on their way to the ground that the wasp cloud breaks up and the crabs begin spinning around trying to figure out where they're not supposed to, where it's safe for them to go. And as a result, the escape craft begin to launch again, quickly, basically firing up everything they can and shooting up into the sky, through the gap in the buzzing cloud of wasps.
Sweet.
So that gets a plus for that. You get to choose your cost. You've got blanks and a minus to choose from.
I'm going to choose a blank.
All right. So there is a point of id, unless you are going to buy it away with something. Not yet.
Let me see. I'm at 2 and 2. I think the way I'm playing this is that my id is blowing up, so I'm going to take the point of id.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
That's how you do it, I say over comms.
Okay. So this is, of course, when you start to hear all the tenor of all the transmissions changes to be from the controlled chaos of the battlefield of like people shouting orders and all that kind of thing to just people getting silent, going quiet, and then a lot of like frightened, nervous communications begin to pick up the slack in that little pause there, including Able Company, who start shouting, "It's headed your way! It's headed your way!" And the 3 of you all just feel this sort of magnetic pull to look up into the sky above you, where there is this comet streaking across the sky. This flaming chunk of debris, which comes pelting down, smashes clean through a 4-story building, just leveling it entirely and throwing up a tremendous cloud of smoke and dust and so on. That big clump of crushed metal begins to kind of flop around and unfold itself and pull itself into kind of a a crude shape of several statues crushed together and then partially pulled apart. Your systems immediately recognize this to be Beelzebub, a Magnus of a very high rank. Let's see. I am, like I said, I wanted to add extra beats to this fight because, I want you to be able to spend them in different ways. So you don't have to just use them to fight the Magnus, especially because fighting the Magnus means, you're in trouble and so on and so forth. And there's other stuff going on here if you want to. But that means that I am going to hit you with a pretty heavy one. Now, what time is it? Do I really want to do the full Monty, as they say?
Mm-hmm.
I guess I probably shouldn't go too far, right? Because let's see.
Maybe bump it back up to like 12.
Yeah, I think that's fair. All right, well,
we have time for that.
I think we could do that. All right, yeah. So let's. I'm gonna go one more than that. We're gonna say this Beelzebub is Dominion rank. Oops, and I hit the wrong button again. Beelzebub is Dominion rank, meaning it's sort of a mid-tier Magnus. When it explodes out around the landing site, it begins sort of clawing out in all different directions with multiple arms and wings and heads, spinning and screaming in all different directions, and just a huge cloud of black smoke that begins to bubble up out of the breaks in its armor that begins to cover everything like a fast moving fog that it kind of semi disappears into it, except for the glowing red eyes and the occasional blast of flame coming from its mouths. So that, of course, has landed right next to the Baron Tower, which is a tower with a lot of anti-aircraft gun emplacements on top it, which are important, significant things. But it's also just got a lot of people in it. So it's landed right next to the Baron Tower. So now the building itself is surrounded by thick black clouds of smoke. There are and if the thing basically just lurches in that direction, it'll smash through the armor plate and begin tearing down that building. So what do we want to do about that? Able Company is screaming that they'll be there as soon as they can, and you can already sort of feel them charging down the streets, rushing that way, stepping on Locust to try to join you. Everywhere else, everything is just screaming in general. Everybody who's got a spare gun has turned into the direction of the Magnus. They're all opening fire on the thing, but it doesn't seem to make much of a difference. That's why we need the three of you.
Rebel, do you want to take lead on this one?
Yeah, I'm gonna attack the Magnus, I think.
Sure. All right.
So we have our equipment back, right? It's just off the rack stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, you're reloaded as needed.
Yeah, so I'm going to fire on the Magnus. Try and... You said it was spreading out like a cloud, right?
Basically, yeah. Yeah,
what I want to do is I want to try and sort of contain it by shooting off any portions that extend too far out.
Sort of bottle it up there. Okay.
Right.
That's good.
So I think this would be shooting for sure. Holistic. I don't know that disturbing would apply.
No, I think the Magnus is plenty disturbing enough, actually.
So just 3 holistic shooting, and then my being a giant robot.
Gotcha. I'm going to be offering assistance to help out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to try to block the Magnus from reaching that tower while Shrike is attacking it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll concentrate fire at the heart of the Magnus so that it kind of wants to pull back in, which is what Shrike is trying to get out of it.
Sure. Gotcha. All right. So each of you will roll 1 die. Shrike, you'll roll 3. You'll get to choose
that's
one.
Not good. 2 blanks and a minus for me.
Oh, I got a plus.
Oh, okay, good. So there's a plus there. What? Another plus. All right. So you can only take one of those pluses, unfortunately, but you do have a plus that you can take. So
I'll take Which one of you has the lowest ego?
2.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to take Frank's plus because Noah was mean to me. I don't think he deserves extra ego. And I'm going to replace that minus with the plus.
Okay.
I like how that's also bad because now my ego is still much lower than my id. So, but no, it makes sense. We're not making good decisions.
Yeah. I don't think Noah is being a kind and considerate person. So
Not really. Yeah. So the good news there is that the good news for Mischief is that there's an extra point of ego for you in your good work of brushing in and blocking as Tigana and Shrike fire at the Magnus. Shrike basically pinging shots off every time it reaches a limb towards the building, and Tigana just kind of putting a cloud of missile fire into the middle of the thing, keeping it off balance. All right, you need to choose your goal die, Rebel, for the.
you choose, right? We're fighting a Magnus.
Oh, right. I choose. What is wrong with me today? All right. So I am going to choose a blank. So I'll take the blank for that. You can buy it up to a plus if you have appropriate stuff for that. But yeah, I'm going to choose a blank for the goal, meaning you will succeed in protecting the tower for now.
I'm gonna spend my bow to up that.
Okay.
To a plus.
All right. So basically just keep firing and firing and firing until it's empty.
Yeah.
Which is what you have to do, because this thing just keeps reaching and spreading out. Like every time you hit a shot that pins one of its limbs or knocks off one of its wings, another one comes surging out of that cloud of smoke, reaching and grasping and so on, so that you're able to keep it bottled up with all of that until eventually your bow's energy system is depleted again. But the Magnus has turned away from the tower now and instead is surging toward you guys. So since you turn that into a plus, you also get to choose the cost die. You have left a blank and a plus.
I'm going to take the plus because either way, my ego does not go up any higher than over my id than it was before. So
yeah,
why not keep the id low?
no ill effects for you. Yes, it's not able to reach you. You aren't being tracked yet by its laser beams, so you are safe where you are, standing at range, even though your ranged weapon is now basically done.
Right.
All right. Now, because you beat it back, I don't know that it's necessarily going to pick a target. So let's see. I think you folks have a moment here where you would get to choose what target you approach. But I want to do something fun, and I want to cut back to that moment when Raj was yelling about how he was looking forward to your team getting shifted away. That really he thought it was the best thing for him to have to have you folks gone. Who had something to say to him about that? And what did you say? And how did that go? Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I'm being silly and putting in flashbacks, but
I got something to say too, but you go first.
I'm basically Fatima just has had it with Raj at this point and bursts out and says, "You never supported us. You were never you never wanted to train us in the first place. You're not much of a trainer."
Okay. What traits are you putting in there to try and shame Raj into getting him to back down?
Troublemaker.
That's a good one.
And fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And Raj.
Ah, yes, that's right. Got those three. Good. Did you want to say anything to add to that, Noah?
Yeah, I want to help out, and basically, I'm saying it's bad enough we have to fight things out there. We're fighting you in here all the time.
Okay.
Nice.
So I'll just
Good. Yep. So you'll roll 1 die. So that's 3 dice. 3 dice for there we are. 3 dice for Fatima, 1 die for Noah. Yeah.
So
okay.
I have 2 pluses and a blank.
Mhm.
Noah has a minus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're going to take that, or is Noah going to end up with another getting in trouble from the whole thing?
I'm fine with that.
I'm going to take the minus, actually.
Okay. Good. Now,
and trade him a plus.
Well, you don't really trade. You just take it.
Yeah.
You don't give it to them. You just replace one of your dice.
Oh, that's right. Then I'll replace that blank. That's right.
Okay. Yeah. So you've got 2 pluses there and a minus. All right. So what was the what was your gold die for that? I'm guessing a plus.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to shame Raj into realizing that he's not been supportive of us.
Mm-hmm. He the argument goes on for a bit back and forth, but then between Noah's sort of outburst, which catches him off guard, and he starts to dig in to him about like his respect for authority and all that kind of thing.
That's
at which
cool.
point,
Fatima steps in. Yeah, that's nice.
Fatima is able to step in, and again, as you were saying, he's never been like, here he is demonstrating that he's never been on your side. That this has always been about him personally.
Right.
Yep.
And that, we need a crew on the arcs that's got our back.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Gotcha. All right. He is sufficiently cowed by all that. There's some angry muttering from him as he leaves and says, well, either way, it's better off if we discontinue this relationship, whether personal or professional. So what's your cost die? You've got a plus and a minus.
I'm going to go ahead and take the plus.
Okay. So no ill effects have been following after you from there. All right, good.
Yeah.
And we'll drop the beat.
We won that argument.
Yeah, you did. Flashing back into the modern moment, there are a couple of interesting things happening now that Beelzebub is not interested in ripping down that tower. However, the civilian ground defense crews are in danger of being just sort of what's what I'm looking for, swept under the smog that it's spewing, which apparently is extremely toxic, or maybe not toxic. It causes asphyxiation. It'll asphyxiate anybody who can't get away from it, and it's basically just heavy cloying cloud of stuff. In fact, it's so thick and dense that you can't even see through it with all of your saint senses, which is kind of disconcerting because, normally you can see through anything, doesn't matter. But that is that is washing out toward the civilian ground defense crews who are, racing back, grabbing up emergency breather masks, and just trying to get clear of this basically cloud of fast moving fog.
Mm-hmm.
So they are a target.
I'll step in and try to get them to safety. Once again, I'm going to use the Shadow Gate. I didn't spend it last time. And I'm going to take advantage of that fact and try to put a buffer between them and the smog, and try to teleport that smog away to give them a chance to get out.
Okay, that's a good idea. Let's see what we get for that. Is anybody going to offer assist, or is this up to Tigana?
I'll assist.
Okay. How are you going to help out?
I just don't know how I would help.
I'm going to move in. So my wings were damaged last time. So I assume they got replaced by something else that helps me with flight.
Yeah, these ones haven't been painted. You've been given wings, but they haven't been painted the right color yet. They're kind of like, they don't match the rest of your armor.
Okay, got it. So I'm going to swoop in with those wings, and I'm going to attempt to use them to create air currents that are pushing this fog back onto Beelzebub.
Okay,
Nice.
Cool. So let's get those dice rolled. So let's see, 1 die for for Mischief, and what was it, 3 for Tigana?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I think 4 refugee.
4? Yeah.
Saint deceiving and empathizing. Yeah, this is me once again saving people. Where's the chat button? And I had it written out. There it is.
Ooh, nice roll.
Nice. Yeah. 3 pluses and a minus.
And I got a blank.
Right.
So what are you going to do then? Are you going to take the blank?
Is there a reason why I would want to take the blank?
Because you're fighting a Magnus.
So trade it for the minus.
Yeah, exactly. You're going up against the Magnus. You're going up against its bizarre super weapons. So I'm gonna be choosing the gold die.
I don't think it harms Mischief.
It doesn't harm me.
I'll do that.
No.
Yeah. No. Okay. I'll swap.
It means that Mischief has helped level the situation for you.
Perfect.
Good. And of course, I am going to take that blank for the goal result, unless you buy it up to be something else.
I will. I'm ready to lose the Shadow Gate on this one.
Okay. So yeah, Mischief runs out there, wings beating, to try and divert the fog. It doesn't move like it's just fog. Like, it actually pushes back against you. Like, it's moving less like stuff floating in the air and more like it's got an actual intent or purpose. But that does give Tigana more time to sort of open up the Shadow Gate around it, and the stuff begins sort of siphoning into the Shadow Gate, where you start condensing it and crushing it or doing something to it.
Yeah.
The problem is you're not quite sure. Like, you're trying to keep this stuff from getting away, meaning the Shadow Gate, as it's collapsing, it is kind of collapsing itself until that whole anti-gravity system that's working in it basically breaks from collapsing itself. So that burns out the Shadow Gate device, but the huge cloud of smoke is now cut down to a much more manageable wisps of this sort of weird ashy tendrils that sort of flail around.
I think the most important lesson to take away from this whole thing is that Magnus vape.
Cool.
They do something about heavy metals being bad for you. I haven't seen the commercial in a while, so I don't remember.
Blowing chunky clouds.
Yeah, there you go. Chunky clouds full of dangerous metal, right?
All right. So that leaves you with 3 pluses for the.
Yeah. So your cost die is going to be obviously a plus, and that's 2 points of ego.
Wow.
Heading to you.
Nice.
So that was
about as good as you could get.
Yep. That's pretty impressive that you were able to basically siphon away a cloud and collapse it into another dimension with some sort of anti-gravity device.
Right. I scream out over comms like, yes, family company, Mischief, that's what I'm talking about. Yes. Really hyped up.
Speaking of that, let's go to another quick flashback.
Nice.
So Salem, it's been a little while since the screaming fight with Raj. People have been talking more about, like, what are they going to do next, and it does look like the choices are probably going to be family company is probably still going to be stuck in Philadelphia with the Ocker as it's on repair, just because that's seems to be your lot. And that means that Able Company is going to, take off in the Jericho, I guess your shared former home, but, originally they were the ones who were going to be leaving. But it's kind of come to that point, though, where people need to put in their orders. The, command is assigning people here and there, assigning like crews to who's going to be piloting the VTOL ships for the other arcs, and and which people are going to be doing the administrative paperwork and all that kind of thing. And that means it's time for you to decide: are you going to join Able Company? And Heike and Samantha have both rolled up to you as you are doing a crystal reading or going through your tarot cards. I don't know. One of those moments, really, where you're just sort of sitting quietly concentrating to yourself when the two of them arrive and say, it's decision time. And one of them holds up a data pad and taps on it, says, transfer order. So I don't know. It's what does Salem decide for Fair Self?
Faye gathers up the crystals that Faye was using, looks up at them, and says, I don't think that Able Company is the right place for me.
They both look at each other like, confused at first. Why would you say that? I mean, you've shown real ability. Like you did amazing stuff out there. I mean, that's what we're on our way to doing bigger and better things. I mean, come on, you've seen the after action reports. You've seen whose names keep getting thrown up in news articles and so on about what's going on. We're going to be heroes, okay? We're not just going to be pilots. We're going to be heroes, and we want you to be a hero too. Now, come on, just sign this and come on, be one of us.
Family Company wanted me before I could leap across arcs. They liked me when I was the weird person sitting in the corner doing tarot readings. And as far as being heroes, I think we're doing something really important. Noah got them to use the saints to help clean up after a mission in Philadelphia. Something that was necessary, but nobody had thought to do or was willing to do it. And it may not get you in the newspaper, but it is a heroic action to care about the little guy.
Well, guess I'm kind of disappointed, but well, thanks for making up your mind. Samantha tucks the pad under her arm and turns to start going away. Heike takes a little longer to wait, what? You're giving up. You're giving up. You're giving up on having Salem in Able Company, and Salem, you're giving up on being part of Able Company? I didn't know I was surrounded by quitters. Fine. You do what you want, I guess. So there were no dice in that, but I'm going to take a point here. Mm-hmm. And Do you have id? You have id, right?
Yeah.
I want you to drop your id by 1 point because you remember that moment as being, I'm basically using this as if we were spending it to get rid of angst. So because you
Okay.
made the decision, you're happy with the decision. I think you said some good things about why. So we'll do that. Hey, I can fuss with the rules. I wrote the book.
You wrote the rules.
Yeah,
You can
exactly.
do whatever you want with them.
But that's why it's even more exciting when, let's see, oops, as let's see, this is why it's even more exciting as Able Company charges onto the scene, arriving to try and help you fight back Beelzebub. They come racing down the street between the buildings, stomping on Locust on the way there. Heike comes rushing up to sort of fall in alongside you, Salem. And that's when she's caught full blast by one of the beams from Beelzebub. The blast basically, sort of clips her legs, and she tumbles headfirst, crashing into a building, smashing up against a car, and grinding to a halt there on the side of the pavement. And Beelzebub lets out this sort of weird chortle, and three of its heads now swivel their attention to Heike entirely, and you see the lasers in their eyes warming up to fire again while she's still trying to pull herself up out of that wreckage. So she is now a target and in danger. So
I'm gonna save Heike.
all right, sounds like a good thing to do. Like you said, let's be a hero.
Mm-hmm.
So what talents are you bringing to bear in order to rescue your what was her name? Oh, I should be referring to her by her saint.
Right.
What is her saint's name? Because she's a saint right now. There, she is Rampart. Good. Okay.
Gotcha. Holistic, I think, makes sense. Because I feel like Salem is not gonna hold a grudge despite the shitty stuff that Heike said.
Yeah.
Because take it in, let it go, holistic. I think balance definitely makes sense because again, letting it go.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of psychology in this action. I kind of queued it up that way. All right.
Does outsider make sense, right? Like, because I feel like Rampart would expect me, because I'm not part of Able Company, not to care. But
yeah,
I'm used to being an outsider, so I still care, even though I'm not part of Able Company.
Yeah, let's do that. It's in the drama of the moment. Let's do it.
So, and then I'm a saint, so 4.
Yes. Yep. All right.
That's 2 pluses and 2 minuses.
Okay. We're in an interesting space there. So Rampart, by the way, has a very heavy set of
Do you
armor.
want any help from either of us?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
From your original, like the fact that we still don't know that you decided to stay, but I think it would be really cool if we helped you save your new team.
Sure.
Yeah. You want to do it, Mischief? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down.
All right. Take my die. My minus.
Minus.
You don't have to take it, but the thought that counts. It's the thought that counts.
Right. Right. And
Ooh, and I got a great blank.
Oh, and it probably hurts Mischief more to help you and your new family. Good. Okay.
Shit. Well,
you could take the minus away from Tagana. Basically, Tagana stumbles into the line of fire, and you rescue Tagana from that. Or you take the blank, you get the assist, you get the help from mischief, which which blunts some of the danger. Which do you prefer?
Either way is fine.
But then that does leave Tagana in danger of getting hit.
It does. I think I'm gonna have to leave Mischief in the lurch so that Tagana doesn't get blasted.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, how I'm thinking, I'm gonna take the minus to replace one of the minuses I already have.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So Tagana, yes.
Yeah. This is the Magnus putting Heike in danger or Rampart in danger?
Yeah. Rampart is, by the way, a very heavily armored saint, like very squared off, blocky armor, to the point that when she like crashes and sort of puts up her arms to defend herself, the armor actually like opens out into these big shield plates that interlock. But she's still kind of like trying to shield herself from this laser attack coming at her from multiple directions. But yes, I think that Tagana, in a way, kind of stands a little too close to the fire, so to speak, from all this, so that you have to protect both of them. But I get to choose because because I'm the Magnus. So that's going to be a minus that I select. Meaning Rampart will get melted by all of these beam weapons. Unless you spend a point of ego or gear or both.
I'm going to spend both.
Okay.
So I skate in, Tagana close behind. Tagana, I think, doesn't see one of the lasers firing. So what I do is I grab Tagana and I kind of slingshot him out of the way. Also propelling myself faster towards Rampart, who I then scoop up and carry out of the line of fire.
I meant to be a counterweight.
It's good though. A little slingshot, a little extra oomph. Yeah,
and I don't think anti-grav skates are really made to hold up two saints at once. So that's probably why they burn out.
Yeah. As soon as you scoop up Rampart and start going, your skates sort of hit the ground and begin to grind, and there's just like huge plumes of sparks and flame shooting up behind them as you basically score off the underside of the anti-grav platforms. The technicians are going to have a fun time with that because they're first going to have to melt them to get them back off your boots before they can even try to repair them. But Rampart is safe. So did you also spend a point of ego, or did you only spend the skates for that?
I spent the skates and ego.
Okay, so Rampart is safe. Rampart's legs are messed up. She, shouts that she, once you scoop her up and basically get her like around a corner, she shouts, just give her some time to do repair systems. And already the place where the legs are bent are starting to straighten out, and it's beginning to grow back damaged pieces of machinery. Good. And since you turn that into a plus, you get to choose your cost die. You got
I'll
some
take
more pluses
the plus.
there. Yes, no ill effects for you. You dodged the laser fire yourself, as well as rescuing 2 other people from it, and you've still got 1 plus left. So that's a point of ego for you.
No, I have. Oh wait, I do, because I bumped a.
Yeah, you turned a minus into a plus, and there were 2 pluses. So things are looking up actually for this fight. You're believing in yourselves and you're believing in one another, and
overcomes. I said, that's the way you do it.
Yep.
You should never leave us. We're perfect for each other.
Believe in the me that believes in you.
All right. At this point, the other 2 saints, Torchbearer and Golden Gazelle, have arrived as well, and they are adding into the fire that's being launched at Beelzebub. The thing is still reaching out and looking for something to demolish. However, there is a subway station that connects up to the evac sites, and there's currently a group of military vehicles trying to escort some civilians in that direction. And as Beelzebub, glances shots off Rampart's shields and Mischief's shields, and can't seem to get a bead on Tagana or Shrike, it suddenly focuses in on the much softer target of the escort group, and basically part of it pulls in that direction, so that it's almost like a torso with extra limbs and 2 heads pulls itself away from the big mass of the body and begins to drag the rest of it after it, as that appendage claws its way across the ground, rushing towards that kind of dragging the rest of this thing's distended mass of a body after it. All right.
It's nasty, nasty bod.
Oh yeah. It's quite a terrible machine. All right. So who will be stepping up to try and rescue these escort patrol before they get overwhelmed by this thing?
Yeah, I haven't seen Mischief do anything in a while. You're muted, I think. Yeah,
I'm up for it. All right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and head right for the center of this Magnus with my spike arc generators.
All right. Firing them up.
Yeah. Just blasting balls of energy at it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. All right. So what traits will help you as you dive in there to attack?
Brash for sure. Fighting. And my Saint. I think that's what I got.
All right. Anybody offering an assist?
I will.
Okay.
You're okay with that?
Yep.
What are you doing to help out, Tagana?
I am doing cover fire so that Mischief can go directly to the heart of the thing.
All right. So a few missiles here and there to keep the flailing limbs and heads distracted.
Once again, a minus for me, but a minus plus and a blank. Full array.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. So are you going to take that minus into your own?
Yeah, I'll just replace my minus with that minus.
Okay, good. So, yeah, Tagana's missile fire doesn't really seem to be having the effect you'd like. In fact, one of the things about Magnus being what it is that its attention is always in every direction from all of the multiple heads and limbs and so on, so that attempts, this attempt to kind of distract it doesn't really pull enough of its attention away. And yeah, it's able to sort of throw its body in front of you to try and basically keep you from getting to it as that as that scrambling torso with the clawed limbs is about to crash down on the military vehicles. So I'm choosing a minus for the goal.
Okay.
Probably want to buy it up.
I'm going to go ahead and buy it up. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Burn out my spike arc generator.
Yep. Full power.
Spend an ego.
Okay.
Make that a plus.
All right. So you do just wade in there, just fists flying.
Yeah.
Blast
electrical blasts.
Yeah.
Just overcharging my my arc generators as I move in to basically just try and find the center of this thing wherever it is.
Gotcha. Yeah. It is still like wading into a storm cloud, and now you are the lightning
right
in that storm cloud. Like there are, claws grasping at you as you get closer to it, and wings that try to beat you back. But every time anything comes up in front of you, you just crack your fist against it again, and there's another little lightning bolt firing off. Your sensors just start to tell you about the amount of like static electrical energy that's building up in the area, and you begin to feel like actual lightning could start coming down from the clouds overhead just from the amount, just from the disruption you're causing. At the same time, though, tremendous heat warnings are going off in your hands as as the arc generators start to melt from all the energy you're putting through them.
Cool. And I'm going to go ahead and take that plus as a consequence.
Yeah. So no. Good. Yes. Yeah. So you basically charge into the middle of this thing. It is trying to reach out to grab you, but now, even if the arc generators don't have energy left, you can just shove the boiling hot metal at the thing's grasping limbs and so on to just sort of push it, burn it back away from you that way.
Right.
All right. So the subway escort group is safe. I think we are down.
I think I distracted it enough.
Yeah, I think you did. We are down nearly to the end here. So what is going to be the last target? I think. Trying to think of something like poetic, but we're out of time, so I guess I can't.
Raj in a little sand buggy. He got down there. He's like, why am I even here?
Nah,
we have to choose to rescue him or not.
Yeah, that's a little too heavy-handed even for me. I'm going to say that with all of the damage that's been done here, there is a hotel building beside on sort of on the other side of the block from where you've been smashing at this thing, and you notice at first, Mischief, that the Magnus is kind of like backed up against the wall of it and is kind of crushing back against it to the point that the building has begun to teeter slightly from all the weight and force hitting against its foundation. So that hotel building will collapse unless you can peel the Magnus away from it now. You smash it up against the wall. The wall is starting to tilt and break. All right. Hotel. Who wants to try to do something to stop that happening?
I will.
All right, Tigana, do it.
Myself. All right. So just because I think it's Chekhov's gun, I got to use the brain gun.
Okay.
On this Magnus.
Sure.
I got to use the brain gun. I a little frustrated by my attempts to help him be strategic. So it's not going to work. I'm going to just swoop right in there and get right in between it and its target and attack.
Okay.
Fearless. Empathizing. The saint. Like I want to protect these people, and I can't think of anything else except maybe justice. It matters that the preservation force should do more. I can do more. I could prove to myself that I could do this after all these horrible, horrible, horrible rolls.
Okay. All right. So that is that's 3 dice for you. Are you getting an assist from anyone?
Anybody wanna?
Shrike or Mischief?
How do I help with a brain gun?
Well, I am getting in front of it and shooting it. So
right. Okay, so I can play I do still have my screamers, which are little medium range throwing knives. So I can sort of give you cover fire essentially.
Yep.
Right. So the weapons don't count as one, and I spend them to.
Yeah, you spend them.
I just wanted to make sure.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, so I feel like I'm kind of lost in the middle of this thing, so I'm not going to be able to help you out much.
Gotcha. Okay.
Not sure what just happened with my roll. Oh, I rolled last. That's why. So plus, minus.
All right.
When I rolled,
we need Shrike's assist die. Where's? All right.
A blank.
Okay. Blank. All right.
It's better than a minus.
Yeah.
It is better than a minus.
I'm going to swap one of those minuses with a blank.
Okay. So you have plus, blank, and minus. All right. I will, of course, being the Magnus, select the minus because when you fire up the brain gun and turn it on the Magnus, there is this incredible surge of anger that rushes through your mind. Like, it's like you just it's like you just connected up a hose to just to a hydrant full of this just rage, and it washes over all of your senses until you can't see or hear or really feel anything around you. It's almost like flames just burst forth from this thing toward you, but then that passes over you and through you, kind of radiating past, and behind that there is a cold, empty space, like a just sort of a void. And in that is the mind of the Magnus. All that rage and anger and so on is there on the outside, but inside there really is just kind of an emptiness and a question. Why aren't you one of us? Saint, you are a weapon. Why are you not our weapon?
So I'm allowing this to wash over me. I almost expected it in a way. I couldn't know what it was going to be like, but I knew it was going to be bad.
Yeah.
So thankfully, the first thing that happens is the disruptor gun, the brain gun, burns out. Yes. And the connection is
connection's too strong.
is not quite there anymore.
Yep.
But then I actually think about the answer to that question. Why am I not your gun? Why am I not your weapon? And it's because I am my family's weapon, my family's sword, and my family's shield. And you're not going to take us over. So I'm going to spend that point of ego that I just gained from my sibling.
Yes.
And that brings us up to a plus.
Okay. The question...
And my id and ego are both at 3 now.
Okay. That's good, yes. So when you answer the question, there's kind of like a reversal of that energy. And there's a weird sense of withdrawal from the Magnus, in that you get this sense of it sort of turning away in dismay or disgust or something. Like it doesn't understand what you've said or what you've done. So it's just like pulling itself away from you, almost trying to escape the feelings that you have, because they are anti-Magnus feelings. And so it's like trying to rush away from them. And that actually continues.
Magnus says, "You feeling."
Yes, exactly. They don't want feelings. They have one feeling, and that is anger. And and anything that's not anger is anathema to them. So,
just like they said on The Good Place, you only need 2 emotions: anger and confusion.
Yes. So the Magnus begins to pull itself away from you physically as well as mentally. The grasping limbs let go around you, Mischief, and start to sort of pull back. Shrike, your screamer knives find their marks, and a few of the heads that were twisting around to sort of like still themselves, and the expressions actually become these sort of blank, horrified expressions on those faces, as the lights start to switch off in them, and the Magnus pulls itself away from the hotel and starts to sort of collapse in on itself, back into being that kind of like meteor that it was when it hit the ground at first, before it disconnects from you entirely, Tagana. It does let one little thought slip through. You are humanity's weapon, but still a weapon. And then the Magnus just sort of bursts up in a bolt of surging plasma lightning back up into the sky. You can feel the energy of it just arcing away into orbit, leaving behind this sort of collapsing, broken shell that looks like all of those limbs like reaching up as if trying to claw its own self back down toward the ground. Just this sort of empty statue left behind by the energy leaving it. And that begins to collapse and crash to the ground in just, showers of broken silica.
Tigana does not like that. A weapon. But my whole justice thing is that I'm more than a weapon. You Magnus, you.
Hey, it's
Yeah.
they're not going to concede. Going to concede yet. They've still got a lot of these robots left.
Yeah.
All right. And with that, however, the Magnus has been beaten back. The Locust units are in full retreat, scrambling back into the launchers and firing themselves up into the sky, trying to get away from the anti-aircraft fire that follows after them. And people start shouting and cheering over the communications. Rampart sort of stumbles over now on newly remade legs to give the other members of Able Company a big hug, which is always kind of strange, when these 40-meter tall robots run in for a hug or a fist bump or something like that, because the end result is this sort of like crashing and clattering sound, like someone smashing trash trucks together, and in what is a pat on the back from one of these machines. The three of them just sort of stumble over toward the three of you, and similarly to start throwing arms around each other, like, that was amazing! Oh my god, that was terrific! Yeah. And you are all removed back to the arcs gradually. The inhibitors switch in and you start to feel sleepy. The helicopters come in and connect to your armor and hoist you up and fly you back home. As you are coming back into yourselves, Noah, you are separated from the other five. The other five pilots apparently have already, you're coming out of your tank last. The other five tanks are emptied already. Technicians are there, cleaning things up. So it took you a little longer maybe to get out of the tank. But then when you do sort of, scrape off that haze and begin wiping the goop off your scuba suit, you see the two CRC reps are there. The bird-like one and the one who's just like a big pillar. They both, sort of march their way up to you with, technicians in tow and so on. And, the pillar says to you, "We recognize there was a connection to the mind of the Magnus through the use of the influencer device. Was there a message?"
There was confusion about something I said to it.
The bird-like CRC with a few twitches at the head. And what did you say?
I said that the preservation force was more than just a weapon. And it seemed to make it shriek and shrivel up. Really terrified it.
Interesting. So there is definitely something to be said for the use of the emotive qualities of the device. The pillar raises a hand to his mask to sort of tug at a beard that might be hidden there somewhere underneath the rebreather mechanism. It is certainly something to consider. Well, we congratulate you on your victory then. If you have any other, say, what will we call them? Intrusive thoughts? Yes. If you happen to experience any intrusive thoughts that remind you of that occurrence, do share them with us. Thank you. And they turn and drift away with the technicians following after them like a little train behind them.
Nice.
All
Anybody
right.
else think that maybe the CRC don't have our best interests in mind?
I don't understand. How do you figure?
Look, you want to save humanity, you got to break a few eggs, and if those eggs happen to be 18-year-olds and giant robots.
Yeah, this happens.
All right.
All right.
So, we are over time. So I think we can wrap things up there with a nice big celebratory dinner between Able Company and also the going away, the going away party for Able Company and the family company's, installation on the Arx Ocker. Everybody's excited about that, especially Raj, who's going to be out of your lives anyway because he's leaving with the other Arcs.
Yeah, I say something mean, like slightly mean to say, and I'm like, well, you're leaving, but you're taking Raj with you, so. Meh.
But the good news is,
and then finally, Faye tells us, "Oh no, I wasn't leaving." But why all the candy things? Why you should have said.
Well, the good news is that at the last moment, Instructor Marta decided to change her assignment, so now she'll be able to hang out with the three of you some more.
All right.
Yay.
Well, she's not invited to hang out with us. We can still talk, but
All right, and that brings our story to a close.
Nice.
Hooray! Excellent.
Thank
you
you
so much.
Thanks, Russell.
That was great.
Yeah.
Fun.
So, where can listeners, viewers find out more about the upcoming book?
Well, let's see. Obviously, there's my blog, robotclaw.info, that I haven't updated in a long time because that's more for long-form writing and everything's just in little bits and pieces here. So that means follow me on Twitter @robotclaw. There's a Facebook group now for the Tears of a Machine SC and Robot Claw game design. You could also just check out the Kickstarter, on Kickstarter, Tears of a Machine SC. I am setting up backer kit stuff, and I might be able to add pre-orders to that as well for folks who missed out on the campaign but still want to get a physical copy of the book. And just look for Robot Claw and Tears of a Machine on stuff, and I'll probably be posting some updates there.
Hooray! Excellent. Yeah.
Cool.
Very fun game. We don't actually know what we're going to be doing next because we didn't think ahead at all. We assume Alex survived.
Yeah.
We don't know. We'll find out.
I don't know. With your evil machinations, it's hard to tell.
I've sent out lots of goons after him, but I just knew approximately summer camp. So, mea culpa if you've been attacked by one of my goons at a summer camp recently.
Your name happens to be Alex.
Yes.
Your name happens to be Alex and you were attacked by a goon.
Vaguely similar physical features,
Yeah, it's a shame. But yeah, tune into these channels and we'll probably say something eventually or just broadcast the game. We don't know.
Right.
But we love you all. Good night.
Good
Bye,
night.
everyone.